Practical Anarchy, A Guide to Self-Determination. Dickie Dredd. Section 35. Artificial intelligence has entered everyday life with remarkable speed. We're told it will revolutionise medicine, transform education, solve traffic congestion, even halt climate change. Yet, as we saw on the section on surveillance capitalism, technology does not arrive in a vacuum. AI is embedded in social systems, and those systems are already shaped by inequality, control, and the pursuit of profit. Anarchists need to cut through this hype and ask not what the machines can do, but who they serve. Algorithms as disguised authority. AI is often portrayed as neutral, objective, and efficient. Politicians talk of algorithmic decision making as a way to eliminate human error or bias. In reality, algorithms reproduce and often amplify the prejudices of the societies that train them. Predictive policing is a clear case. Software used in US cities claims to forecast where crime will happen, but what it actually does is send more police to poor and racialised neighbourhoods, thereby reinforcing cycles of harassment and criminalisation. Similar pattern emerges with facial recognition systems, which have repeatedly been shown to misidentify women and people of colour at far higher rates than white men. These are not glitches, they are the logic of the power expressed in code. Earlier sections or later sections will remind us that attempts at barter systems or crypto markets were reabsorbed into capitalism's gravity. AI functions in the same way. It promises liberation but delivers management. Automated hiring tools reject applicants who do not fit conventional profiles, perpetuating inequality. Credit scoring systems track not only financial behaviour but online interactions, social networks, and even neighbourhood postcodes, a digital update of the old postcode lottery that already defined inequality in healthcare and education. AI in the service of states and corporations. The state has eagerly adopted AI for border security, counter-terrorism and social monitoring. Biometric databases and real-time surveillance transform people into data points, stripped of context or story. Migrants are among the most heavily targeted. AI sorts visa applications, flags risky individuals, and even predicts the likelihood of integration. In these cases, the technology is not enhancing human dignity, but intensifying exclusion. Corporations pursue AI for profit. Amazon employs it to manage warehouse workers, minute by minute. Uber uses it to nudge drivers with psychological tricks that maximise productivity. Social media platforms rely on recommendation algorithms designed to capture attention at all costs. These uses reinforce what has been identified as surveillance capitalism. Every interaction mined, commodified and sold. Far from being neutral, AI here is an extension of the boss and the advertiser. Countercurrents. Commons and cooperative AI. Anarchists are not obliged to reject technology outright. The principle of federation, to be outlined later, applies here too. Tools can be designed and governed collectively, with accountability. Commons-based approaches to AI are still in their infancy, but there are inspiring seeds. Data cooperatives experiment with collective ownership of information, where communities decide how their data may be used. Open source AI projects mirror the peer production models that will be discussed later, showing that collaborative development can out-innovate corporate monopolies. There are even proposals for community algorithms, transparent systems built to serve local needs, such as coordinating food distribution, monitoring ecological health, or matching skills to cooperative projects. These ideas remain marginal, yet they demonstrate that AI need not be the property of Google or the state. As with renewable energy, to be discussed later, decentralisation is key. Small-scale, federated systems are less vulnerable to capture than global platforms. The myth of neutrality and the abdication of responsibility. One of the greatest dangers of AI is psychological. The myth that machines are neutral encourages people to abdicate responsibility. The computer says no becomes an excuse for unjust decisions. School exam results in the UK during the pandemic pandemic generated by an algorithm that favoured private schools illustrate this. The problem was not lack of data, but lack of accountability. Decisions that should have been made by communities and teachers were outsourced to code. This abdication echoes a warning about the ballot box. Representation becomes management, not genuine voice. With AI, the risk is even greater. Governance becomes hidden behind opaque algorithms, decisions inscrutable to those they affect. An anarchist approach insists that decision-making must remain collective, transparent, and revisable. AI can process information, but it cannot answer the question of how we should live. Case study: predictive policing in Los Angeles. Los Angeles deployed predictive policing software called PredPol from 2011. It claimed to forecast where crimes would occur by analysing past data. In practice, it repeatedly targeted the same working class neighbourhoods, leading to over-policing and criminalisation. Community campaigns exposed the flaws, and after years of resistance, the LAPD abandoned the programme in 2020. The case shows the dangers of algorithmic policing and the power of grassroots opposition. Case study: cooperative platforms and open algorithms. In Barcelona, the city government experimented with Decidim, an open-source digital platform for patisserie democracy. Unlike corporate social media, Decidim was transparent, auditable and accountable to its users. While still operating with municipal structures, it points towards how technology can be designed for collective empowerment rather than extraction. Similarly, platform cooperatives, worker-owned alternatives to Uber or Deliveroo, experiment with algorithms governed by those who use them. Though limited, these cases suggest directions for anarchist adoption. Low-tech resilience: why AI is not enough. We will later discuss everyday anarchism, community gardens, repair cafes, off-grid living. These practices do not need AI to function. In fact, resilience often lies in simplicity: face-to-face assemblies, rotating delegates, and redundant low-tech infrastructures such as bicycle networks or community radio. High-tech tools can help, but they must never replace the foundation of human solidarity. Roger, for instance, has experimented with digital communication tools, but its strength lies in neighbourhood assemblies. The Zapatistas use basic radio more than sophisticated software. In crisis situations, power cuts, surveillance, repression, low-tech methods prove more durable. The essence is balance, AI as support, not as master. Speculative horizons: AI in a resource-based society. In a resource-based society, if resource-based societies emerge, and we'll discuss that in the next chapter, AI could serve useful roles: coordinating renewable energy grids, tracking ecological health, optimising transport to reduce waste. Automation might relieve drudgery, giving people more time for education, creativity and care, but these benefits depend entirely on commons governance. Left in the hands of corporations or states, AI would reproduce hierarchy. Brought under collective stewardship, it might become a genuine tool of liberation. AI conclusion: technology is not destiny. AI magnifies whichever structures of power it serves. In the hands of capital and the state, it becomes another mechanism of domination, opaque, totalising and difficult to resist. In the hands of federated assemblies and commons, it could support autonomy, sustainability and mutual aid. The choice is not whether AI exists, but how it is embedded in social relations. As Colin Ward wrote, anarchism is the seed beneath the snow. The same applies to technology. Seeds of liberatory use already exist in open source projects, cooperatives and data commons. They need cultivation, not blind faith in corporate promises. AI will not abolish politics. The task of shaping how we live together remains ours. No machine can relieve us of that responsibility.